Maybe you need a boyfriend to come with you. Bobby,
Uh,
nice to meet you.
My name is Bobby, and I'm a single.
Bobby, child I met 5 minutes ago. Well, I'm not ready for a relationship. I need to focus on myself.
Look, we're in different places. I can do long division. You can't. Welcome to Talking to Tomatoes, the podcast where we talk about the children's Christian media we grew up on, not only for its quality, but for the pernicious propaganda behind it. My name is Eric Everly.
And I'm Jubilee Alexander. Fucking vampire queen, apparently.
Well, we are back to our core competency with a 1987, I believe,
Woo!
episode of Adventures in Odyssey. Episode 4, Connie Comes to Town. And I'll
Expanding
just
the
say,
Connieverse.
yep. Let's get deep. Let's do deep character studies of all of this. Though there's a new character introduced that I think we need to talk about, but we get to that. But before we start to, I don't know how to say that word.
Proselytize?
Proselytize, proselytize,
I don't think we're the ones proselytizing.
proselytize. Before we get to the proselytizing, they're proselytizing, not us. How many times can I use the word proselytize in a sentence? What is making you happy this week?
What makes me happy this week? Well, like I was saying, I'm in Seattle right now, and I have been a level of shut-in I haven't done in a long time, which is crazy because I came from my small town where I live to a big city, and I was doing nothing, mainly because they're young dogs, and I feel like I don't know how much care they need,
You're dog
and
sitting. I think that's something that needs to be.
yes, dog sitting. I'm house sitting and dog sitting, two things you can do at the same time. And yesterday I was like, I should go. I should just go. Let's just go. But I didn't get the motivation until like 2 in the afternoon, and then I'm like an hour from everything. So I'm like, whatever, let's not. And then Seattle had hail and a water spout
Yesterday?
yeah, yeah. It was like I saw some footage of it. I was like, when was that? And it was like 37 minutes ago. So.
You go down to Pike's Place and get a different experience of the fish throwing.
Fuck you. How about you? What's making you happy?
Well, I can't tell if this is actually reversed on the screen or not, but this is a shirt I got on a vacation, and I also can't remember if I talked about this last week, but we went to the Grand Canyon a couple weeks ago,
Ooh.
and the national park system. I am a fan. It's kind of one of those things. Is not as generally kind of not an outdoorsy sort of person. It's just like yeah, can't wait to go and get eaten by camp and get eaten by bugs and stuff. But even just for day trips and driving through, so beautiful, so grand. I've I have some pictures of me looking over the edge of the ground, like on my stomach on the ground, peeking over the edge in one of the. And I mean, it's kind of it sounds scarier honestly than it really was because the Grand Canyon isn't just and it's a 5,000 foot drop.
It's not
Kind
a
of
Wile E. Coyote sheer cliff.
yeah.
Cliff.
And in most places it's not. But we found a place where it was probably a couple 100 feet drop. And the tour guide told us there are no laws or rules or regulations against like climbing over fences and like walking to the edge and like peeking over. They're just like, it's your life. You can do what you want. And I'm
Have
like,
fun,
how
kids.
how very American of us. But yeah, no, the Grand Canyon was pretty cool. You should go. It's pretty grand, and yeah.
So we have an Odyssey episode to get to, and it discusses two really poignant things, which are what's more dangerous, riding the bus or being in LA? Two things that as a bus driver and someone who lives in LA, I think we're gonna have a lot to say about. Also, there's some Bible bullshit.
This what we listened to for this episode is what I thought Odyssey was gonna be like through and through. It
Yeah.
is it is preachy and judgmental um and badly performed and annoying.
That kid
Oh
was
man,
supposed to be 12 years old.
I
He
put
sounds like
that.
he's 4.
Yeah, 4 to 6
Hello.
is what I thought.
Hey,
Which
Connie. Like the kid who doesn't understand what a bus, like how a bus works. Or, like, the whole conceit behind this episode is there's a miscommunication, which is, it's like the most standard thing in like half of the jokes are just wit. Half the jokes in Odyssey, especially old Odyssey, seems to be here. I say something, somebody misunderstands. You go yo ho ho, but there was a massive miscommunication that happens, and the way it like a level to which I've never seen Whitaker get mad before. He gets furious. Furious is a bit of an exaggeration, but he gets so upset.
we'll get to
And,
that. So this
yeah,
episode, like I said, it's called Connie Comes to Town. It is the introduction of a new character, Connie Kendall, who is I assume basically never stops being around here because
I
she
mean,
is
at least until 2014, because she's the main character of the book that we did on the
right.
last episode.
Basically, it starts out with first off, it starts out weird. It is almost 4 minutes into the episode before we hear a voice that isn't background chatter or Chris talking. Like she just like the episode opens and she just starts talking and talking and talking and talking. And I'm like, what the hell is with this intro? I mean, I guess it's like,
It did feel like a bat, like someone vamping, waiting for the actors to get into position.
yeah, it's like, where the hell is everyone? Well, I guess I can start to summarize the episode that we're about to
Anyway,
listen
our
to.
small town.
But yeah, she vamps forever about like grass is greener kind of stuff, which I was like interesting. I wonder, how this is gonna like come up in things. But speaking of miscommunication, I think it's either just it might actually be the one clever thing in the episode is like there's this massive miscommunication that's like the heart of the dilemma of the episode, but then the very first thing is Whit is at wit's end, which again Chris vamps forever about. He's super busy, he doesn't have a lot of help there, and he is like trying to deal with orders and have a phone conversation at the same time, and it's the whole game of telephone where he's talking about like a Bible lesson on the phone while someone, you know, clearly
Taking
nobody
a
involved.
chocolate shake order on the other.
Yeah, like no, like you can't like even a little kid isn't sitting there looking at him on the phone and going, well, he's not looking at me going, yeah, it's in the book of Luke this week or whatever, and it's like, like yeah, I get it, but then again, this joke is drawn out for like 90
That's what I was gonna
seconds,
say. It goes on
and
for
I'm just like,
so long.
so long, so
And it's
many.
not an A and B plot connecting, except for the fact that they're clearly talking about like the Bible Bowl, some trivia, Bible trivia thing that's going to happen. But it just goes on and on and on. And they flip
Yeah,
this, they don't just do that. Hello? What? Really? No way. Like that one side. They flip it the other way, which I thought was, 5% clever, where someone asks Whit a question, and then he says something complete non sequitur, and they go, "Huh?" But I mean, at this point, we're so tired of the joke.
yeah. No, it doesn't matter how clever it gets at that point. We've been you got it, you nailed it. Please move on. Anyway, as he's sitting there talking with, I believe he's talking with Bobby, which is again
Oh,
a
Crane
child who sounds
Man.
like he's 4 to 6. Tom, Whit's lover, Tom comes in, and has a
I'm
very
Fujoing out, bestie.
what the hell does that mean?
Okay, so welcome to Jubilee's Lesbian Corner, where I have to explain some concepts, some internet concepts to my straight brother. Fujoshi is the concept of women who enjoy men loving men content, and someone I'm dating has declared themselves to be a hardcore Fujoshi, and she's also a lesbian. She's like, I have no interest in participating, I just want to watch. So I'm just like, heated rivalry.
So Tom shows up you've seen this 1,000 times. It's how you set up. Well, I'm out of like. There's too much stuff. And there's everybody's throwing him orders. He's getting phone calls. Tom shows up with a delivery of some dairy. Where do you want me to put it? Eyebrows, eyebrows.
I got a load of cream is a phrase one of them says at some point, and I'm like, I bet you do, bestie.
Just for you. Whit. Anyway, as he's sitting there trying to balance work and his love life, Whitaker, somebody somebody walks in. Connie Kendall, new in town, new girl shows up looking for a job. Basically, she's looking for directions. A very old fashioned episode. She has a newspaper. She's looking for the want ads, and so she's walking somewhere and doesn't
So
know
kids,
where to go.
newspapers are no.
Yeah, welcome to mid millennial content where we have to explain newspapers and want ads and not having a GPS.
Not having a credit score and giving randos a job that just walk into your store. And
Yeah,
I don't think it actually comes across as creepy, but it is like wild to think this high school girl walks in looking and is like, I got a job for you, little lady. I'm like, Jesus Christ, calm down, Whitaker.
yeah. So she's looking for directions to a place because it's in a want ad, and then he's like, I'm looking for some help."
If it was a friend of a friend, if someone walked in and was like, "Oh, me and this is Connie, she's new in town," like even that would it would feel very old time. It would feel very, very 1987. But even that, but like she is by herself, and this old man who is apparently super busy, dealing with one phone call and one ice cream order.
It's very like I personally haven't experienced this very much, but I see this sort of content about the joke of boomers who don't understand like the job market are like, well, just you go down to the business and you shake the owner's hands and you explain, like that's how hiring happens anymore.
Yeah.
This is what every boomer who has ever told you to just go and talk to the owner and they'll give you a job. This is
This
what
was
they're
the
thinking
last.
of, and
This
this
is
is
the last
exactly
time
what
they checked in with that process.
1987. Yeah, December
1987.
1987. The last time someone walked into a business and got a job, just by being there. The other weird thing is where she was like, "Well, how much does it pay?" And then he goes, "Well, how about I go and call the store that you were going to go to, see how much they were going to charge, and then I'll then or how much they were going to pay you, and that's what I'll do it." And I'm thinking, a, it's minimum wage. Wit, like what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
it's a high
But
school retail position, and I'm sure that's what she was applying for. It was a department store? Yeah, the answer is minimum wage. You fucking.
yeah, what do you think? What do you think the answer is going to be? Yeah. It's $25 an hour in 1987, of course. Yeah, so she gets a job, and something that I think this episode does a really bad job, an especially bad job of, is putting things in terms like what's the temporal placement of everything, because apparently weeks or months pass during the process of this episode that I didn't put together until like literally the final scene.
Or you realize that that much time must have passed. Yeah.
Because like, what do you mean that you all know in love that it hasn't been a because there's a thing at the beginning where Whit is setting up something called the Bible Bowl, which is like a trivia Bible thing. And then at the very last scene is Connie. Connie is emceeing, and she's introduced as someone you all know and love. But like the context of that phone call at the beginning makes me think like, dude, the Bible Bowl is this weekend. Like again, the having to put the urgency on Whit to sort of set up the his overwhelmedness means it can't be. It's not months from now. It can be like, Sharon, I'm slammed at Wit's End, or whatever her name was. I'm slammed at Wit's End right now. I can't talk about the Bible Bowl. Bobby needs his damn milkshake, his chocolate soda. But yeah, some like because time passes. But
It is kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of the consequence of there not being a B plot, because literally he goes, "Oh, we'll call the place and we'll hire you," and then it cuts immediately to her being like, okay, what do you want me to do next? Could easily have been that afternoon. And if even you just switched to a conversation in another room of Wit's End, it could have then felt like it was later. But there's
we
literally no B plot.
we come back and Connie has taken to it. It's like, boy, I really literally like one or two lines of dialogue of like, boy, you have really taken a shine to this position, or this worked out even better than I thought. She's, oh man, this is all easy. Like, we could establish characters and create a relationship, but no, that's not what we get. We get the one of the very next scenes, which is
People said it was nuts hiring someone right off the street. Do you think it
but
was
I'm
supposed to be, oh God, I'm Whitaker, I'm so busy. Oh, I should hire someone. Like he could even make him look smart if he was just like, okay, I need some help. What the hell? There's serendipity, which of course you call Jesus' magic.
Providence or
Um,
something like that. Yeah,
yeah,
but we have to get to the second major character in this thing, which this episode, which is Bobby, who is a
4/12-year-old. Connie's in high school. Or is that confirmed?
I believe that makes sense in what I know from later that because it's a long
But maybe they don't
her
actually say
character has
anything.
a hundreds of episodes arc. Well, not hundreds of episodes worth of episodes, but like she goes through a lot of things. But yeah, I although again with the way that this show is so weird about people's ages and stuff, she could be 12 or something. But anyway, the second major character in this is Bobby. Connie and Bobby are walking somewhere for a reason that I don't remember. Why are they walking somewhere?
Wait, are they walking somewhere to go get her uniform? Because at one point he tells her to go
That
somewhere to get
that's what it is. That's what
uniform.
it is.
So that's on the very, very first day they meet. That's at the very beginning of the episode, which makes what follows even more insane. That
We have she's hired. The next scene, they're walking to the store to get her uniform, and then the next scene is her is like believe is them or her working at Wits End, which again just the way that the plot with the scenes that makes sense. So she and Bobby, so she's talking about why she needs money, and he's talking about Los Angeles. Speaking about Los Angeles in a very little kid way. Part of the reason why we thought this kid was freaking 6 years old. She's like, "Have you ever seen the ocean? Have you ever met or did you know any movie stars and stuff?" And then he makes the funniest reference. He goes, "There's a kid in class who used to live in L.A. and he lived right next door or just down the street from Don Johnson." And I'm like, "Who the
who,
fuck is that?"
who is that? Oh,
He
okay, you didn't
was
know
it.
either.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know either. But I was like, well, let's go see what this is. It's just from the '80s. He was his big role in the '80s was a character on Miami Vice, which again, it's not that weird for I suppose for a 12-year-old to watch Miami Vice, but for a 6-year-old who we still think this character is at this point, we're like, how the hell
I
does this
guess
child?
we think of crime like a police drama. You'd be like, why is this little kid watching, NCIS or something? But like, Miami Vice is probably more of a character study than anything. So I guess it isn't like Don Johnson.
Maybe it just felt it felt very like what's gonna make the parents laugh. But again, this was
Also, he goes, "Is it that near where Disneyland is?" And Connie says, "Not really." I'm sorry, bitch. Where the fuck is Anaheim that
okay.
far?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Is the
okay.
thing.
So like
It is.
that is actually a smart joke where it's like, I mean, yeah, on a global scale, Anaheim and LA are pretty close, but okay.
Yeah, in the same way. I'm just gonna say I don't have another good
New
example of
York and
being like
Long Island. Those are two,
yeah
they're two places in New York, but
yeah. You're
that's
like, is it
probably
near
not.
New York? Is it near New York City? It's like I mean, it's in the same state. It's not a 10-hour drive, but
It's
sort of a
insane how
thing.
big New York is.
And then she's been like, yeah, I need the money for the bus to go to LA, and he freaking out of nowhere is like, hey, wouldn't that be like dangerous for someone like you? And she's like, what do you mean? You know, a girl. So it's like, cool, thanks, Bobby. further confounding the age to be like, oh, Bobby is 60 years old. A young lady like yourself shouldn't be traveling.
That's what it, yeah, you can smell the writers on the other side of this line of like, "Oh, you pretty young thing like you, what you doing going across on a bus?
These stage coaches are dangerous. There might be bandits.
Banditos might get you, Connie."
The Transcontinental Railroad is much safer for a pretty young thing like you.
Jesus.
So he goes off on all this, and then we get to the next scene, which is like her
Well,
working.
to explain why this is extra confusing, has to go. It is implied that it is later told to Connie that this 12-year-old boy has a crush on you. And again, that makes a little more sense. A 12-year-old having a crush on like a 16-year-old makes sense. Like, and but like what's confusing here is like he's just like it sounds like he's going, well, shouldn't you have a boyfriend go with you? It's not, maybe you need a boyfriend to come with you. Bobby, nice to meet you.
How's it going? My name's Bobby. My name is Bobby, and I'm a single. Which, again, actually, I at this point still thinking he's 6 years old, being like, that's kind of adorable. He's like,
Yeah, yeah.
the 6 year old, I am going to protect you because I'm a man, sort of a thing. And it's like, okay, you're being raised by sexists, Bobby, but that is a little sweet that you want to protect somebody that you just met. Like I get it. I get wanting to be a protector. I
And
get it. I
again,
get it.
if Bobby is a 12-year-old hardcore flirting with her, she would know how to shut this down. Be like, "Oh, I think I'll be fine. Thank you for the offer, but I'm not." Like that. But because he sounds like a little kid and is acting like a little kid, it makes sense that she's kind of like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
maybe.
thanks for the
Uh,
offer." Yeah, oh yeah, maybe. Whatever her nonchalant answer is like,
we'll
"Yeah,
see.
I
We'll
don't need
see,
to."
sort of a thing.
Bobby child I met 5 minutes ago. Well, I'm not ready for a relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to focus on
You don't,
myself.
you know. Look, we're in different places. I can do long division. You can't.
I I need a man who's done pre-cal.
So we get back to Connie working, and something else that is established that will probably continue to come up because I know this is part of her character arc is that Connie is not religious, is not a Christian, is not a thing, and people are like, whoa. And then we get to the next scene, which is her working, which retroactively you put together that she has been working for a little while and is doing a good job because she's like, hey, what's next? Ready to go. And there's a sort of a thing that's kind of dropped in about she and her mom moved to Los Angeles, and she is going to get a job, get some money, and go back to Los Angeles by herself, sort of a thing.
Do you mean they moved to Odyssey?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, that yeah. So her and her mom moved to Odyssey, and she wants to go back to L.A. because that's where her friends are. That's where she's from. She doesn't really dig Odyssey as
What a
much.
bitch.
How dare you not like the small town? So the moral message of this episode is the grass is always greener on the other side, and be like, well, maybe give Odyssey a chance. Boy, Whit is pushing give Odyssey a chance really hard, which because there are so few characters in this, it feels weirder than just someone being like, I like my small town. If there were like several different people that were all just like, oh, you could have other characters that were to get
Even
into
if
what we
you
usually do
like,
at
I
the
know
end.
it's episode 4 and Eugene's not here yet, but it could be like she goes over to like up here and is like, boy, Whitaker's really gung ho about like this two-horse town. And then they're like, I don't know, like I like Odyssey, like I think I'm probably gonna stay here after high school. Could be we're like, oh, there's something else here, something's going on. But yeah, because it's literally Whitaker and Bobby, it makes even more obsessive. Which this is the meanest I've ever seen Whitaker. Like there were like evil super villains before that. Whitaker's like, oh golly gee, towards. He rips into Connie in this scene and is like, and this is where it is revealed that Bobby is 12 years old because at one point, Whitaker is like, how could you? make him think that you were going to take him to LA with you. And Connie rightfully goes, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "When you said this, he read it as this way, and so now he thinks it. And how can you go?" And Connie goes, again rightfully, "That's not my problem." And Whitaker's like, "How can you go through life thinking about like it is the biggest hair I think we've ever seen him go on to." And it's like, and it is at the end of the conversation where he says, "You're going to have a 12-year-old boy to raise," which again is implying the ridiculousness of there actually being a relationship there.
I almost found it less, in some ways, less weird about the whole, oh, what have you done? As much as it was this is your fault. I, I actually, like, again, if it were a better told story, I almost think that this is like an interesting and like kind of cool way to make us feel as weird as Connie must in this moment, to be like, what the hell do you mean? Why are you blaming me for the way that a 6 year old misinterpreted it? Honestly, why is she being blamed for what a 12-year old is misinterpreting? But
Yeah, you can't have it be both the little golly. Were you near the ocean? That is not a thing a 12-year-old who is like has a crush on a girl is gonna really ask. It's so fucking weird. And that it is, Wit is really upset with her. And she's like, "Oh, I guess I gotta change."
yeah, it felt kind, and it sort of felt victim blamey, not just in the situation, but it's like she is a child who is going through a rough time, and you're gonna lay into her about, like, I get kind of from a trying to make you feel better if she's like if it was she was just like, boy, I'm like sad that I lost all my friends, and he's like, change is hard. Like the thing that you should be doing is like, change is hard, but there's good things about small town. Like there can be, you can have fun here, or there was probably a time when you didn't have friends in Los Angeles too. Like you could like, and then you did, and it got better. So maybe Odyssey will get better. That's how I would have like structured this. But no, it's forget about Los Angeles. Oh, and it's not just Bobby who's on about how dangerous like the bus is, and he at one point he literally goes like, I just need you to understand how dangerous a city like Los Angeles. Dude, she's in high school and has lived there seemingly her whole life. I think she understands, like has
Yeah,
this.
it's not Bobby talking about moving to Los Angeles or some doe-eyed country girl talking about moving there. It's like I'm going back to the city I've lived in for a while.
So she's like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. It is my fault. And then we cut to a hilarious final scene where they're at the Bible Bowl, which is like again like a trivia contest. Bobby is there with a suitcase packed and ready. He's like can't do the Bible Bowl. Gotta go meet my girlfriend at the bus station. Then Whitaker starts the Bible Bowl and calls Connie up to like to be the MC, which then has what feels like a joke that I actually probably would have loved at 8 or something, which is she doesn't know how to pronounce all the hard names in the Bible, like Melchizedek and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Like these are famously hard names to pronounce, and she's like stumbling through it, and I'm like, yeah, that's funny. And so it basically ends with Bobby being like, babe, I thought the
Eh,
bus. Babe, missed the bus. And she's like, hey, I'll show you how to get a refund for your. Well, again, even weirder is the very last, pretty much the last thing he says is like, but I've already bought the ticket. And I'm like, that can't be a cheap,
I'm actually
even from.
scared to think about how cheap Greyhound tickets might be back then
You know
because
what?
I
That's a
took a
good point.
bus to Portland one time. That's like I mean, it's a 3.5 hour drive, but longer when you're stopping for that. And it was like $31. And I'm like, this is too little money.
I mean, I've taken exactly one Greyhound bus in my life, and it was from wherever Raleigh is, South Carolina, to Aiken, Georgia. And
What
dear
the
God,
fuck?
that was a terrifying situation.
What the fuck were you doing in this? How do I not know this?
It was a business trip to Raleigh, and then our dad was living in Georgia at the time. Uh,
Oh,
with the
you
decided
turned
that
a business flight into a yeah. Okay.
yeah. And it was way too little
Jesus Christ.
money, and dear God, they just sort of showed up in places. And the bus driver would be like, "Do you have a ticket to people?" And they'd be like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Cool, get on." I'm like, This is not how you run a transportation." I, I was literally working in like transportation logistics software at the time, so I'm just like, "This is." You're like, "Is this the
Do you have an
shipment?"
invoice for this? Yes. All right, thank you.
I
Good job.
I
High five.
I believe you. Cool. I got lots of those. High five.
You seem trustworthy. Does he?
Why? Because he said he had an invoice. Anyway, that is some bus jokes from us at Talking to Tomatoes.
All right. I know this is what
Um,
the people are really here for.
so yeah, so he's got his bus ticket, and she's like, again, in a way that underscores the fact that there's no way this child is 12. She's like, "Oh, you already bought the bus ticket? Well, I'll make you a deal. I'll stick around if oh yeah, she's like, I want to stick around a little bit, and she's like, I'll help you figure out how to get your money back for the bus ticket
You can
you
hear
show
her
me how to
kneeling
pronounce."
over with her hands on her knees to talk to this 4-year-old child
Yeah, and she's like,
with their.
if you help me learn how to say all these Bible names. End of episode.
So I mean, it feels a little feminism 101 to talk about how this is 100% a story that is it is somehow a worse. We pick a lot on the weird storytelling choices, but the weird choices even more so highlight the patriarchy of it all. Like this woman who doesn't know this kid is immediately blamed for it. It's just, I mean, the way this is just lining up the little girls who'd be listening to this for it's actually your responsibility. If a boy has a crush on you, like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, everything is just it all just like builds together into such a it's like the weird creepy ideology is further amplified by the weird storytelling of it. And it's I'm trying to figure out, our sort of usual thing about like looking for patterns in this kind of stuff. I feel like this is a pattern, and I'm not sure if it's a pattern of bad storytelling or if there's some other reason for it. That it's almost like you want to go back and re-listen to the episode so that you can like recontextualize everything as, oh, Bobby's 12, he's got a crush on her, she's been working at Wit's End forever. It's like the story is built backwards almost, and
Yeah, like you
if
need that information first to understand why these interactions are what they are.
and it's not like you would think it's an M Night Shyamalan style twist if it were treated as such, and if these were stunning revelations, but they're not. It's not Whitaker going, he's 12, Connie, don't you real, and she going, what?
Yeah, it could have been
He goes,
interesting where she thought he was little, or like, oh, he must just be tall because he's stupid and doesn't know how the world works.
no, we're all stupid here, Connie, get your head out of your ass.
Get your head out of your ass. We're all
Sorry,
fucking idiots here.
Whit is allowed one curse word per decade. I'd be like, did Whitaker just say shit? What the shit, Eugene? Not again with the imagination station.
Did you turn off the fucking safety protocols?
We're gonna fucking die, Eugene.
Yeah, I'm excited that Odyssey feels like it's hit its stride in episode 4. I'm excited to listen to more of these old episodes and try to find some find some
I,
little gems. It's since I think since we started recording last, we were watching the pit and it auto played into old episodes of ER, and I'm sure it was groundbreaking for its time, but it's not a great medical show. But it's just the 90s of it all because it's I think 1994 was the first season, and it is the most fun part about watching that is seeing 1990s where someone's just like, we found a kid. I mean, just watching the old computers and just the old, like, the one that I love, and it's why good storytelling should never have amounts of money that things cost, is because they'll be like $3 for a sandwich, or it was like, God, I feel like someone was buying a plane ticket or something, and it was an insane price, or like $4,000 for a new car.
Right. Yeah, I know. I did like we sort of chose this episode as a let's dive into the character of Connie Kendall and stuff, but there's also I looked forward a couple episodes and there's one called Bobby's Crush. So apparently this is just a problem. This Bobby just has a problem of
Hell yeah, Bobby.
making making his affections other people's problem. Yeah, we also I found a archived an internet archive thing of like all the Odyssey cartoons stuff. So we might have to. I said that to you, and I was just like, oh boy, I want to see these. These are lots of fun to do. As usual, this the podcast is available on Apple and Spotify. You know, we've given this pitch before. Everybody who has this podcast give this pitch, but please go listen to it, subscribe, like, or leave us some reviews and stuff. I'm led to believe that boosts us algorithmically and gets more people to watch the show. Um, you can also, if you want to see the video versions, that's available on YouTube, Talking to Tomatoes, and we post clips to TikTok at Talking to Tomato. And I have my individual TikTok at eric.eberly.
And you can find me at Titan of Joy on TikTok and Instagram.
Talk to you later, tomatoes.
And I'm Chris. As we pull into Los Angeles, on the left you can see Disneyland, and on the right you can see the decayed idol of American opulence. Have a great day. Dun, 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 dun. The synthesizers of it all.
Oh, this is the music. Oh, it's so bad.